Matt Lenihan for Boxing Social in association with Forged Irish Stout, freebets.com, Empire Fight Store and Ready to Fight. We are here with former world champion and Matchroom Boxing's community ambassador, Sonny Edwards. Showtime, how's things?
Oh, we live? I didn't realise you started, so...
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah. You're obviously here in Belfast supporting your fighter. You're taking this sort of managerial role seriously now. You've got a few fighters who you're looking after with, in conjunction with other people. Obviously, young talent in Giorgio on this card. Excited to get him back out in Belfast on a reasonable card. Good experience for him. Yeah,
I think maybe managerial might be a bit of a stretch right now. A bit of sort of overselling my role. Yeah, maybe.
Consultant.
Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, young fighters, I want to use the word trust, but someone that's been there, maybe done it, and they see that they want to follow a similar path. Giorgio, like we met, we become quite close. He was asking me questions on things, and then he asked me who I think he should work with, etc. Look, he got signed by Eddie, so I'll be involved, or as much as Giorgio cares me to be. I'll be honest. I don't mind just being there supporting him. I think he's a really good lad, really good fighter. And yeah, he's got my support fully. He's an ex-Repton boy, so I can see similar sort of like traits to myself. And yeah, even in stylistically, he's, like I've said before, and maybe this is just a narcissist in me talking, but I feel like I see me in his style, and I don't mean that like just me, him following me or copying me. I don't mean that at all. I mean like the way he sees things, the way he stops calmly and patiently at the edge of range, just in front of them, engages the distance and sets them a trap, takes his chin just out of range and then hits them with a big shot. Like, it's very, very elite level, but he doesn't come from a boxing background, really, even though as a 2 times ABA champion, senior ABA champion, 2 different weights. That's quite surprising. And his second one was at 63.5, the weight above really what he is now. But he comes from a point kickboxing background, and if you search up and find some of his footage, you'll see how impressive he really was at combat and being out of range, having one foot on the floor, throwing a kick, then as it lands, throwing a combination and then finishing with a kick. It's like when I saw it, I had a found respect of that sport, which I maybe didn't even have as much as before, and the way it translates into now he hasn't got to worry about kicks, all he's got to worry about is hands. I've seen him as a young age do things out of range, transition into range, score a head kick and a punch, and then start the retreat, making the miss on the way out, and then when he got his feet back down, countering him, like stuff that really blows my mind. And he can do it with feet involved as well, so like such a high standard and so naturally. So now he's only got to worry about 2 fists. I feel like he's in his element.
When I spoke to him a little bit earlier at the after the weigh-in, spoke to him and just said, look, you signed with Eddie Hearn, you've got Sonny Edwards as, obviously I know you said I may have oversold your role, but like a mentor, a bit of a guidance point, if you will then. I said, what sort of the best bit of advice you've had off either? And it was more about, keep your feet on the ground. He says that's what sort of stuck with him. Is that the best bit of advice you think that you can pass on to somebody like this young kid who's got a lot of talent? Baby steps, keep your feet on the ground, let's see where you go. Is that the best advice?
Yeah, I feel like remaining level-headed and committed and not getting complacent is really important for a young fighter, especially a fighter, because not many get what he got. I never got what he got, which is a good backing from world-leading promoters. Live slots pretty much straight away, attention, big knockout to start. Like, he's had a really, really good start and good foundations to his career. So what was the question again? The actual question.
The question was about advice and how it was about keeping his feet on the ground. So saying, is that the best advice for someone like him? Is that what you would say is the best thing?
Yeah, but it's really easy to get carried away. Sorry, I say all that stuff to say this. It's really easy to get carried away when sort of you're getting the superstar treatment, to really start believing in boxing. You'll see it time and time and time again. You're literally one fight, one contract, one move away from being a superstar to not being no more. You know what I mean? It can happen that quickly. And unfortunately, with the sport that we do, if you don't really dedicate and apply yourself, you won't adapt and improve and mature at the rate you need to keep up with the demand of what a career of a fighter like Giorgio will be put in front of. You know, after a couple of years, he'll be getting good fights, then big fights, and then really pushing on to try and be a star-studded name in his division. But if you get to your 6th, 7th TV fight in a row, you know what I mean, and all of a sudden you're taking an eye off the ball, you're looking at him thinking this is an easy fight. I don't know, maybe not being as dedicated, or, you know, missing sessions, doing whatever someone that gets complacent about how good they are in anything can do. And complacency is the killer of dreams, and that for me is always the biggest. And the biggest way to do that is keep the fighter respecting the boxing ring as much as possible. And things might look easy before, but they won't be easy until you make them easy in the ring, and that's due every single time. Every single time.
Complacency is the killer of dreams. I think that is probably the best thing to sum up boxing and the boxing world, because you're completely right. I want to come on to another fighter who you work closer with, one of your friends, Ishmael Davies. What a fight, by the way. That fight with Troy Williamson sort of come out of nowhere for a lot of people, but he feels ready. I know you believe in him. What a fight to add to that card already. Is that fight of the night for you?
It's a fantastic card, and I'd probably offend a few of my friends if I said and outrightly said that, but it definitely can be. I think there's a few fights on there. The main event, great fight. Sandy Ryan, Terry Harper, fantastic fight, for especially the both positions of both girls. I know them both well. It's a great card, and a card that seems to be very well matched for its location. I think if you look at everyone on that card, pretty much they're bringing something to the pot, and that's always good and stands for a big night, a big atmosphere, a big event. Hard fight for Dalton, but it's time to step up on a big platform, and in a time for me when the schedule, apart from, you know, that card right now, is probably one of the strongest bits of what's out there right now. There'll be definitely some more exciting fights getting added left, right and centre, as they always do. More fights, big fights getting worked on. And we are in that stage where we just had about 6 cards where it was really like world title level fights people wanted to see, all at the back end of the last year. So obviously now you've got the little rebuilds, you've got the what next coming. So this is the first, and it's always hardest to get the first quarter because people plan their whole year, but once they finish the year, they want Christmas, they want New Year's, they might have just fought at the end. I don't want to fight February, I don't want to fight early, but we still need fights for these dates, so it becomes a balancing act of what fights can you actually get done over the line. But I genuinely think that's a great card, and respect to both of them. Obviously, dealing with the Ishmael side of things, he has said yes to everyone before he fought in his last fight. He actually only got that fight because he initially accepted to fight Troy. So he was offered Troy to fight them before his last one, and we accepted. Then the Adjiarco and Troy fight got made within the next 24 hours, and then 24 hours later, Matchroom gave Ishmael, because for saying yes to Troy and showing his willingness to fight, we'll give you another fight offer because you was already in the conversation. Yeah. And he got another one, Ewan McKenzie. It was probably an easier fight, probably a better introduction in my opinion. So it worked out for good in the end. So now we got offered him again. He got offered a couple of other fights, said yes. Some decent fights, would have been some decent scraps, but for like family or like wedding reasons or baby reasons, etc., like actual real life reasons. So I can understand that, like not just taking a fight and fitting into what we want you to do. I mean, you're dodging, it means like life, you know what I mean? So Isha said yes to absolutely everyone. Matchroom know that, and Troy again, exactly the same. He's also the home fighter as well. He managed to get Ish as the home fighter. He's kind of earned it. He went away. He's coming closer to home. Sheffield is from Leeds. He brought 200 people up, more than that I think really by the end of it, to Newcastle. He covered his opponents and his purse with his ticket sales. Like, very impressive debut. Welcome to proper professional boxing in the stage of like big platform, and he done everything that was asked of him. So there's no surprise that he was in a rush. We were in a hurry to work with them again because they delivered, and it was a great event. And Ish was very excited to work with Matchroom, which is always good when you're working with fighters that are really excited to work. It makes it easier to make the fights, and he feels lucky, and I don't think he's lucky. He's worked very hard to get in this thing, but he feels, you know, blessed to be in this position where a fight's going out again, and it's like what people are talking about, and when they're putting it out, if you look at the social media comments, it's like one of the fights they're really talking about, like, because no one expected it. And like I said, it's been offered, but because, you know, how it goes, we don't need to make it public and go out, like, because Troy's also a friend of mine. You know, we've trained together in the past, we've been on GB together in the past, we've travelled away, like, and he's also friends with Ish, like, they've sparred together, they've shared time together, not like our best friend, nothing like that, but like respect there, but they both know getting in there, it's going to be a hard, good fight as well, because it's not get in the ring, tippy-tappy, it's two men that want to get about and set about each other, and they both can, and they're both tough, so it's really going to be one for the fans. I feel like these fights don't usually get made at these level, but I think for the British fans, these are the fights we really need to celebrate, because, okay, right now, while all the world's promoters are going to Saudi or going to America or going to wherever, the fighters really want to go because they're getting offered the most money. It gives the time for these fights to get really built up. And look, Troy, probably in some people's eyes, goes in as a slight favourite because former British champion. He's boxed at championship level time and time again. He's got some good wins. Okay, he's had some losses as well, but he's always shown willingness to come back, take a fight, and really, he's had one of the best resumes, win, lose or draw, like that you could really have, and he's achieved. So for Ish, it's trying to break through that level. If he beats Troy, now he really is ready for the British titles. He's ready for like the bigger fights. Like, it's a great fight for him, a great opportunity, and it's grateful for Matchroom to give that fight, both fighters, the opportunity. The winner goes on, pushes on, and if the loser keeps saying yes to fights, I'm sure they'll get another fight, and that's how it's going right now, and that's how it needs to, because in 5 years, if all the fighters do that, take a fight, win, if you don't, get another fight, keep doing that. At least what we're going to know is all the storylines, everyone's going to be familiar, he fought him, and he fought him, and he fought him. All the fighters that don't really want to fight need not apply. If you just want easy graft, go to Sky. How cold that was. Oh my God. Cut the interview. Wow. That was quite cold, isn't it? It was your reaction that gassed me. It was your...
That's my fault. That's my fault.
No, but your reaction, like, got my reaction.
No. Wow.
I'm only joking. No, don't sue me, please.
Yeah.
I'm only joking. I love everyone, all promoters and platforms. But right now, come on, let's do better over there.
Sonny, what I was actually going to come across before you sort of did that bit of a mic drop moment, what's quite clear, and I think when people talk about you and they talk about you fighting and everything else that goes on, you are a pure boxing man. And when we had that long interview the other week, you said, you know what, I'm one of these guys, I am going to find it hard. I'm going to be here another 10 years fighting. I'm going to be involved in boxing. You can tell the way you talk about just other things that are going on, how obsessed you seem with it. Do you get so much, do you buzz so much? I've seen people like, obviously, Ishmael and obviously Giorgio. Where's that passion come from? Is it just all you know? It comes across like that so much that you've just got this passion for boxing outside of just you in the ring.
I've spent my whole life around boxing, around fighters, and the more I become aware of what it is that we're actually doing here, and the more I've become aware of how vulnerable adults we are. And I don't want to say that in like, oh, we're the victims. But what you got to remember is most amateurs, apart from the ones that have been tapped into, don't know anyone really in the professionals, not to have a proper conversation with, not to know where to go, who to sign with, who to talk to. So what happens is the one or two people that they know or end up finally knowing, they're usually the one that sign a lot of fighters, because, you know, you're an amateur, not really thinking about going pro. Someone starts telling you could do this, you could do that, you can make all this money, they'll do it, they know this person, that person, they'll get you it, you sign a 3-year contract. I've seen so many times that happen for fighters where I don't even want to disrespect anyone, so I'll never make it about like, actual like people, but I've seen great fighters probably even better than me, that sign with the wrong people, that don't know how to build them, and it's just pulling teeth until they retire and give up boxing because it doesn't pay the wages and they have to go end up doing something else, or like putting them under pressure they don't need to be. Because if a good fighter that's dedicated certain parts of their life, even if they're not the biggest sell, you can work on that. If they can fight, it's all right. People just think it's always about the marketability. Like, a slight different angle. Someone that doesn't really talk, make them never talk. Someone that can't speak, don't let them say a word in front of the camera. Don't let them do an interview. Like, there's different ways you can look at the same thing, and all of a sudden you got a fighter that don't say nothing. No one's ever heard his what? Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
I'm giving people gold here.
You get the business, sir. You really do understand the full circle of this.
Yeah, and that's just one very silly example. But if someone can fight, and they will fight, and they're a good person in the sense of that, you know, they fight for the right things. If you just fight to be famous and just for money and just for attention and just to be someone special in a room, because trust me, then you're going to go through your whole career wanting the most for doing the least, and you're going to be painful, and then you're going to and you might be able to fight a little bit, and usually what you get is the more they can fight, it's comfortable until it starts getting hard, and then their career just completely capitulates. That's usually what happens, and they've usually the same fighter that's been very hard to get into a ring every single time, gone through 5-6 different opponents. No, I don't want him because of this, don't want him because of that. Trust me, it's the same.
Right, let's come on to you. Spoke to Frank Smith yesterday. Mentioned obviously the work you do with the community side of things and stuff like that. And he says, sung your praises about you going into these gyms and speaking to kids and getting actively involved. Also talked about you as a fighter and said, there's a lot of plans that we can do with Sonny. Could move up in weight and fight, could do whatever. Where do you see your next step? Obviously, you mentioned before about Dalakian with the WBA belt. He's lost that now. What's next? What's in your forefront?
To be honest, to be honest, not really sure, 100% what I want. There's a lot of options. Just had a good sit-down talk for an hour about all the different ones that we could go, and that fight needs to that fight needs to that fight, and I'm really trying to maximise where I am right now. It's about making the right path. If I'm completely honest, whoever Eddie, whoever Frank, whoever Matchroom, whoever DAZN want, should be in line with who the fans want, which should be in line with who I want, because I will genuinely fight anyone. I'll find out how good I am. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll have to pay for my delusion at some points, but I will find out how good I am. I will try my best to push myself as far as I can and get myself in the hardest rings as I can while I'm fit and healthy and able to do so. Because when I'm older and I can't do it no more, I'm not going to live in regret of what ifs and I could have been him and I could have beat him. I'll find out who I can beat and I'll find out who can beat me. I still think I am the best flyweight in the world. I do. One, because I feel like Bam's leaving imminently. And two, because genuinely, if you gave me the rematch, I would still feel the same, like I can beat him. And I'll take away a lot from the first and a lot of confidence from the first, believe it or not, if you're watching and listening. But a great fight against a great fighter. But just to now put me in a place where I now have more open options, in fact, of which route can I go. I've kind of got 4 now.
Yeah.
Different world champions, different this, that, different weights. I've probably got 8 now. I could probably go to super flyweight and do everything there. So I've got 12 now. And I'm probably big enough name at these weights, especially where it really wouldn't be that hard to make most of the fights. The only fights I've ever struggled to make are the ones that have really got something to defend, like a real built up, and there's not that many that are probably past what I can bring now. And because how easy it is to make a fight of me, how much I promote and sell the fight, I think DAZN like me, they like the show, they like the response before, during and after, the commentary work. They're bringing fighters. Look, we had the first 10 minutes of this conversation talking about fighters that Matchroom are working with, that I'm involved with. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm doing a lot. I'm doing more than most, so I'm probably a safer investment for the future of fighting in certain ways than a lot of others.
Is when you set off in your careers, and you're I'm going to be a world champion, whatever. Is it now just biggest fights, in your mind, biggest fights, most money, whatever, or is it that weight class, or does it matter to you? Is it just the enjoyment of fighting? What is it? Do you know what I mean? Because you've ticked that box. Whatever happens now, Sonny Edwards, world champion, but 2-weight world champion. What is it? The driving motivation? Just a love for fighting? What is it?
In the instance of what direction my career is going to go, it's going to be towards the big events. hopefully the big events are where the hardest fights, usually at my weight they are.
Yeah.
There might be some slight variations, as there already has been.
Usually not though. Usually quite tough.
Yeah, I know, yeah, but exactly, usually the harder prospect of fighter, but then you might get like a sneaky one that's basically like halfway towards a YouTuber or something, and then they get a little bit more of a push, you know what I mean? Like, but whatever the biggest event is, and hopefully it's the biggest fight, because for me that means the most, because if I genuinely think I'm going to beat someone easy, like, I'll kind of prepare like it, just to test if I can, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for Bam, I didn't think I could beat him easy. I felt I'd have to beat him hard, and look, I couldn't beat him hard, so there we go.
Like to run that back one day, wouldn't you?
Would love to, and it wouldn't be hard to do. I would love to do it at any time. Like I said, it sounds an excuse to the alien ear, but I know what my vision was seeing from when he did hit me. I give him the credit, of course. Like, I'm not saying it shouldn't have happened or he cheated. I'm saying he hit me, but then I had to deal with double vision, which for every other one of my fights, no one's done to me. You know what I mean?
I think people could see as well. I mean, like, we know how you fight, and we know that you were like, look, I'm gonna have to go and swing. You changed completely what I think people thought you were going to do, and it was like, I'm just going to have to go down this way because of the vision. So I don't think people like doubt you because you're right. Or do you think people still do?
I don't know, and I don't really care. They can feel and think whatever they want. I know what happened in there, so my heart's very in contact. If I did just proper swallow it on like, oh nah, this is just a fight and I'm not liking it, I know that's not true. I can watch me in the fight taking big licks, smiling and telling them to keep coming. That's not the body language of someone that's stressing over the punches. My vision was a problem, and when my trainer said to me he wanted to put it around before because of what he was doing to my face, I can't see my face, there's no mirror, so I'm now trying to imagine real time, very hard fight where my face is getting this whatever that I don't know, and my trainer has never ever uttered the words he wants to stop the fight, he can't keep watching this to me or anything similar. We've never had that. We are winners. I've lost one fight with Grant before this in my entire life, and I probably didn't really lose it. Like, we've gone a long way, we've had a lot of fights to get here. So I've never heard that. So when he said that, I went out the 9th round to do something. That's why I came out with energy and all the energy I could summon up. And then it got me caught because I was trying to hit him more, so I was southpaw to hit him. But the reason why I was switching back because I wasn't getting caught as much orthodox. So I was in that mental battle with myself. But because I was going and trying to land and react to everything he done, that got me caught. But at that time, mathematically, I knew I was down big. I needed to win that round really to probably close it to 1 point down. So this is where we was in my head, and the scorecard showed the same. Once I got put down and already stopping Grant from the round before, told him I cannot see him, which I couldn't from the second. Go watch all my other fights, me and Grant are having a dialogue. This fight, as soon as my eye went, I'm not trying to speak to him, I'm not reacting to what he's saying, I'm just there, just like looking, because deep down, I didn't want to say out into the universe what was the reality. I was just in the fight, trying to win. I couldn't just skate round, take some like things and let 12 rounds go by and sort of be as safe as possible. No, that was my big moment. So if I'm not going to win, I'm going out completely swinging in a way that people didn't. I don't know why people didn't think I'm capable of it. Like, I showed that I could stand there against one of the biggest punches the division's ever had in Alvarado and just sit there. Like, that's hard to do for a fighter. A fighter knows that's hard. No, but a fighter knows it's hard to stay that close to someone without moving your feet and them not just start absolutely battering, like just punching holes in you, especially a fighter like that. So I thought I've shown sort of like my grit and how much I like to fight. You can see it in there. Okay, it wasn't my fight and it wasn't my night, but I genuinely enjoyed it. Even after, like, my training was half and my corner was half. Look, that was a half fight. Come, let's go backstage. Before the decision, when he was doing all that and he was doing his Lord in the Belts round, and I said, no, he beat me. I'm gonna go to the middle of the ring. And after there was that argument, I was like, no, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna give my words and give him respect because that's what he just deserved off me. That's what he just earned off me in that ring that night. So I'll always shake that hand and I'll always give it to him. Always. Win, lose or draw, I've always been very humble because we're just fighters. I will sell the fight, and yeah, okay, I might, get carried away a bit, but we need to feel something, and I do feel it. I'm not like fake. Like, I react to what's in front of me. But I always said the whole way through, even to their team, I did like Bam, and I do like Bam. I think he's a good guy, and a very, very, very good fighter. And yeah, still, And there's still a big part of me that goes into 2024 with so much energy and enthusiasm that at 27 years old, just for my 28th birthday, I could be involved in an event like that at this stage of my career at flyweight. Give me another 10 years. And it's exponential for some reason in this game. It starts slowly rolling, and all of a sudden it seems to be bigger and bigger jumps. So now, I don't know, I come to a show and more people care about what I am, what I'm doing in the show. Do you know what I mean? It just exponential grows into the point of I'll be able to get bigger fights and keep fighting, and I'll find out how good I am in my career. I won't have a false record, I won't have a fake record. I think I'm one of the best, and I'm always there to prove it. A loss won't ever deter me, because that's only one man. I've beaten 20. I can't let one person make me feel like I'm not great. I know I'm great, and I've always said it's going to take a special fighter to beat me. And by all accounts, Bam looks like a hell of a special fighter. He's doing things that I would have loved to do. He's really doing shit right now at such a young age, and I was seeing that from afar and wanting to be involved, either swallowing up the hype. I don't mean hyping it, I don't think, because actually doing good stuff creates hype. It doesn't mean you're overhyped, it doesn't mean you're oversold. He had hype around him because he's a good fighter, and it was either come and capitalise on that or be a part of the storyline. And right now, I was part of the storyline, but you know what I mean?
But the story's not finished, and a lot of stories and chapters to write this year. Look, Sonny, appreciate you again giving us a lot of your time here. It's been interesting as usual. We've seen a bit of different side here, and look, it's always a pleasure to catch up, but we can do it again soon. Appreciate it, bud. Yeah,
just to let Boxing Social know, he really worked for this interview. 2-3 days, trying to get it. And I was outside on the phone, and then I just seen him packed up and leaving. He's been here all day. And as he was leaving, I called him. No, where you going? And then he come, we've done the interview. So thank you for waiting and being patient.
Not a problem. I appreciate your time, bud.
We need to think of a new advert for freebets.com.
Get your best betting offers from freebets.com.
Yeah, that'll do.
The following deals are now live.